Welcome to the Happiest Mouse podcast. This is a weekly show where we discuss all things Disney. If you enjoy going to the parks and talking about your love of Disney as much as we do, then this show is for you. You can subscribe to the Happiest Mouse podcast in your favorite podcasting app. Hey there, happy friends. Welcome back to the Happiest Mouse podcast. On this episode, we're going to continue our discussion of our very first trip to Walt Disney World. We're going to review what we thought of Hollywood Studios, Epcot, and Animal Kingdom. If you missed our review of the Magic Kingdom, make sure you go back to our previous episode where we discussed it there. Everything that we enjoyed, what we did, what we didn't do, and things that we learned throughout the process. All right, so hey Kyosha, how you doing today?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
Doing good. So I just wanted to clarify something. I wanted to make a correction rather. On last week's episode, we were talking about one of the things that we were able to find, which was the mini sipper. And we couldn't exactly remember where we got it. We threw out that we got it at Star Traders, and while we were recording, that didn't sound quite right, but I couldn't think of where we actually got it, because at Disneyland, there's also a Star Traders, and it's where you buy merchandise. And so after we recorded, I was like, I have to go look this up, and we were wrong. We did not get the mini sipper at Star Traders. If you listen to that episode, you probably were thinking to yourself, these rookies have no idea what they're talking about, and we don't when it comes to Walt Disney World. We're still learning. We actually got the mini sipper at Cosmic Rays.
Oh, Cosmic Rays! I knew it had something to do with space, but I couldn't remember what because it was in Tomorrowland. All I care is that I got the mini sipper and it looks really cute in my office.
Yeah, it does. We'll go ahead and just jump it off and start talking about Hollywood Studios. That's where we started our Friday. And so if you didn't catch last episode, we went during Thanksgiving week. Last year in 2021. So it was our first time ever going to Walt Disney World. We started the day off at Magic Kingdom. That was on Thursday. And then on Friday, we started at Hollywood Studios. It was our first time. So we thought, just like Magic Kingdom, you could get into the park early, but not into the rides area, into the lands. So we showed up. I think the park opens at 9. And we got there, about 8:30?
I think we got there about 8:15, 8:20, something like that. People were already lined up outside, so we just figured we'd have to wait till like 8:30 on the dot, and they would let us in. Boy, were we wrong. So we waited, and we're like, oh, I wonder when they're going to let us in. Then we got all excited because they let us move up in the line. And still, they didn't let us in. They did not let us in until 9 a.m.
Just to cut you off real quick. So if you've never been to Hollywood Studios before, the first part of the entrance is kind of outside where you see the Hollywood Studios sign. So that's where we were lined up, like Kira said, about 8:20. And then they started opening up that section and you also buy tickets there. So the ticket booths. Past that onto I want to call them turnstiles because at Disneyland they still have turnstiles, but that's not true. It's like where you scan your Magic Band. So that's where they started letting everyone go in. So we're like, okay, we're moving, right? And then, nope, we got stopped again. But
joke's on us. We were stopped again. And to make matters worse, like when you listen to the previous episode, you realize how disappointed we were with our hotel breakfast. So we went to the park starving. No coffee, no breakfast, because we thought we could get in early, grab us a snack like we did at Magic Kingdom, and then go on rides. Well, that's not what happened. So we had to wait till 9. So not only are we waiting in line, not really moving, just standing for like 30, 45 minutes. When 9 o'clock came around, we were finally let in and we can't do anything yet. So we have to eat first because by this time I'm getting grouchy. We're starving. So we ended up going to, I think it's called the trolley cart, but it's Starbucks. It's whatever, the very first Starbucks that you can find when you go into Hollywood Studios. So we went to Starbucks. We got our normals our normal items that we get at every Starbucks. You know, your coffee, your breakfast sandwich. We did want to try this carrot cake cookie that we saw all over YouTube. And of course, they didn't have it. So the hits just kept on coming. We're just like, really disappointed. Yeah,
I think they said, right now because it's the holidays, they had replaced it with a holiday specific cookie. You know, they said it was similar. It had like the cream filling. To us, it didn't look appetizing. Maybe it was good, but we kind of had our heart set on that carrot cake cookie. So we decided to forgo the cookie. We just skipped it.
So we sat down for a minute and ate. I should say we scarfed our breakfast because, like I said, we were like so hungry. And then now that we're kind of like feeling okay-ish, we're like, okay, so what should we ride on? So we ended up going to Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad.
That's right.
That was our first ride. And the line was long for that because it's crowded. It was kind of upsetting because we thought the line was short. And then once we made one turn, they had opened all the queue. So then we had to walk through all of these lines. I don't know how to explain it exactly.
So as we were walking up to the ride, we walked through these poles that ended up being part of the queue. And so as soon as we got into where we thought was the end of... Well, we got into the end of the queue. But then they had opened up, basically turned everything we just walked through into the queue, right? So you have your switchbacks, basically, as they call it. And so, we ended up... I think when we walked in the line, I think it was posted at like a 40-minute wait or something. But I think to be fair, we're constantly moving. It was moving pretty quickly, but I think it was closer to a 60-minute wait. But I don't know. It wasn't too bad. Thankfully, it wasn't too hot either.
Yeah, it wasn't too hot because it was early. By this time, it's probably like 9:30, maybe 9:45, something like that.
Yeah, and I will say most of the queue, though, is outside.
Mm-hmm.
They do have a lot of umbrellas, which I thought was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
I remember them having a lot of umbrellas every few feet, so that kind of helps, especially during the summer months in Florida. We live in Houston, Texas, so it is very humid here as well, just like it is in Florida. So, but I don't know if I could handle going to Disney World in the summertime.
Yeah, I don't know. I went to Anaheim in California in the summer and I was hot, but it wasn't anything like the summers here in Houston. The humidity just really takes it out of you. So we'll have to see if we can manage to go in the summer and talk about it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and so but we really liked this ride. It was our first time riding this ride because it was our first time at Walt Disney World. They don't have it yet at Disneyland. It is planned, though. Mm-hmm. They're going to be having it in Mickey's Toontown at Disneyland. And I think it's scheduled to open in 2023 sometime. I forget exactly when. But they're about to start actually... Well, they've been working on it partially, but they're actually shutting down Toontown, I think in March, to finish the construction of that. So that's on the way. But we really enjoyed this ride. It was really cute. I liked the music. I like the little cha-cha scene when you're dancing with Daisy. That was cute. So I'm actually looking forward to riding this ride again when we go back.
I heard that you can actually get different scenes. So I thought the scene we had and the little room that we went into, I really enjoyed this ride. I know there's other rides at other Disney parks that use the same track or the same mechanisms or whatever. So I'm very excited to see what the other parks do with this also, and I'm excited to ride it again to see if I get a different scene.
Well, I don't think the whole ride is in a different scene, right? You're talking about just there's one portion where your your car, for lack of or part your seat on the train, if you will, goes into like a cave looking thing almost, right? And then there's like a screen there, and then each one of those screens is a different scene. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
I think ours was I think we're underwater, right?
Yeah, we were underwater. We fell down the waterfall or something. Yeah, it was so cute. And I think it's good for adults and kids because some rides. I think this one you might be able to take younger kids on. Yeah,
I don't think there's a height requirement for this one.
Very cute. Definitely would ride again.
Yeah. And one thing I will say about Hollywood Studios when we went is I think from the very start of our day we realized it was very packed. After we came home from our trip, I ended up watching a few YouTube channels for people who were there that day, and they said that was the busiest day that they had seen all year.
Yeah. Like I said, lots of rookie mistakes this trip. But I will say I didn't hate it, but I do want to go to Hollywood Studios again because there's a lot of things that I did not get to see or experience because of the crowds. But the next thing that we did after Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railroad was we actually got to make lightsabers. So Now, by the time we waited in the hour line and all of that and rode the ride, we were actually kind of hungry again. So we ended up going over to Star Wars Land, and I can't think of the name of the land right now because Batu. Okay, so we went over to Batu and we actually ate.
We had the
Ronto wraps.
Ronto wrap, yeah, there you go.
I was not really a fan of it. It wasn't horrible or anything like that. I think I might have just been tired and just irritated or something, but I wasn't really a fan. But Shane, I think you really liked yours.
I really enjoyed it, and which I was a little surprised by how much I enjoyed it, because it did have coleslaw on it, and I'm not generally a big fan of coleslaw, because I think they have a breakfast version and a lunch version, but we got the lunch version, and so I actually really enjoyed it. I thought it tasted really good. I actually ended up finishing yours because you didn't like it.
Yeah.
So for me, I was like, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to describe the flavor, but I mean, it's really simple. I mean, you could probably make it at home. It's really like a pita flatbread with the sausage, coleslaw, and I feel like it had a sauce on it too, but I can't.
Think it had a sauce, probably something like mayonnaise based, maybe
because you don't like mayonnaise. So
I don't really like mayonnaise, so yeah
I'll have to get better at remembering what's on the food so I can be better at describing the food for the podcast.
So definitely we'll do some more research and have better descriptions for our Disneyland food for that podcast, so stay tuned for that. But next we went, like I said, we went over to make lightsabers, and let me just tell you, I'm not going to say that it was worth every penny, but I really, really, really enjoyed this experience. If you can afford it, do it. But it is expensive.
It's pricey. Yeah.
It's pricey. But it was so fun, and it felt like I was in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't have kids. We have 2 fur babies. So it's just me and Kiosha. So we kind of budgeted for this. We knew we wanted to make lightsabers. Last time we were able to go to Disneyland in 2020, beginning of 2020, we made
droids.
Our droids. So Kiosha made a BB unit and I made an R2 unit. And so we knew we couldn't, when we went, we wanted to do the lightsabers then, but we just couldn't justify spending basically $600 because it's $200 for, at the time it was $200 for the lightsaber and then $100 for the droid. It's still $100 for the droid, but the lightsabers had gone up to I think $220. And so when we went, they still had the bags.
Yes.
for the lightsabers, the carrying cases. We didn't have to suffer through and get the plastic bag like some people recently. That was a big scandal.
Yes.
I don't blame them. I mean, you're paying full price and you expect to get that carrying case.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Kiosha said, we really enjoyed it. Our storyteller for our experience was amazing. He did a great job, put on a good show. All the cast members in there were really nice. The lady that was helping us, the cast member that was helping us, I wish I would have got her name. And I was kind of so focused on the show and trying to listen to the instructions, I kind of feel bad that I didn't like interact with her a little bit better. But that day I was wearing my Baymax shirt. And so she came out around the front and kind of was helping me and then like put her fist out to give me a fist bump. And I was like, oh, this is weird. So I gave her a little fist bump and then she did the ba la 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 la. But it didn't click what she was doing at the time. And I was just like, oh, and I'm like, I felt rude. And then it clicked, oh, she's doing the Baymax, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But she was amazing. She was so awesome. But yeah, I mean, it was, I think the whole experience is what, 20 minutes or so? 25 minutes maybe?
Maybe about 25 minutes, 30 minutes, something like that. We did arrive really early for a reservation. I like I said, I think I was just really tired by this time. So we kind of took a little break after we ate, and then we checked in with the cast member. And then so when you go to do this experience, you check in, you have to make a reservation, then you go and check in, and you have to pick basically the design of the lightsaber that you want. They have these drawers, and you pull out the drawers and you can look at them, and then that's what you decide what pieces will be there when you go into the room. So we both picked different pieces, and then when you get in there, you basically just build your droid.
Lightsaber.
Oh, sorry, lightsaber. But it's just really fun, and if you are a Star Wars fan, now we like Star Wars, but we're not really fans like we don't know all of the things about Star Wars, but we enjoy it. And these lightsabers are so fun. They're heavy duty. They're made of metal. They're not the plastic cheap toy lightsabers that you get at the store or like Walmart or something like that.
They're heavy.
They're heavy. And when you play fight with them, they light up and they make noise, and they're so fun. And actually on our Instagram, I believe we posted the video of the actual experience with the storyteller, so that'll kind of give you an idea of how.
I think we posted just a small clip because we were both making the saber, so I really couldn't record too much. I took like a quick video, a little scan of the room, and with him starting his story. So and then but for the actual, like you said, the different lightsabers, there's 4 different themes, and I'm probably going to get these wrong, but there's Power and Control, which is the one I got. There's Peace and Justice, which I think is the one you got.
I think that's the one I got.
There's Elemental Nature, and then there's one more.
I'm not sure, because I honestly never cared enough to learn the names. I just knew which one I wanted, and so that's why I say we enjoy Star Wars, but we don't know all the things. We just, like, for me, I just know what I like. And of course I made a purple lightsaber. Shane made a red one. The purple lightsaber goes with my purple BB. It was really fun. It's a little upsetting that it's such a high cost. But now if you have kids, you're probably not going to do this for all of your kids, because that would be like super expensive. But for us, it worked out because there's only 2 of us, and we just budgeted for it.
Yeah,
it was a very fun experience.
Yeah, and I had to look it up because it was bugging me. But so for the lightsaber at Savvy's Workshop, there's the Peace and Justice, there's the Power and Control, Elemental Nature, and Protection and Defense. So I'm not sure. Actually, you might have gotten Protection and Defense. Now that I think about it, because I think the Peace and Justice has more of the gold one.
Okay.
Which the guy next to me, that's the one he used. I really liked how his lightsaber turned out. But yeah, I mean, this definitely was something that we enjoyed it. If you're not a Star Wars fan at all, you probably wouldn't want to do this. Mm-hmm. The experience was worth it for us. We really enjoyed it. But if you like Star Wars even just a little bit, and if you enjoy it, I'd say this is something that you want to experience. Now, if you're going to go with like your spouse or maybe with your son or your daughter, and you're like, you know what, I can't afford 2. What's nice is you can go and you can bring someone with you, right? So if, let's say, me and Kyosha, we only wanted 1, I could build the lightsaber and you could have stood there and watched me. You could bring someone with you. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. If you want to just do the experience and just see it, you can do that. But then you do only get the 1 lightsaber. Now, right now, like I said, they don't have the carrying cases that they're including as they originally were. But they did reduce the price. So I think it went from $220 back down to the original $200, but you don't get the carrying case. So that's something to keep in mind, and you do need to make that reservation. When we were there, I heard some people coming up and asking if they can get on the standby list. I didn't realize that they had a standby list. I did hear the cast member tell them, sorry, our standby list is full for the day. So I don't know if that means they do have a standby list, or she just told them that so as not to say, oh, we don't have a standby list. But I feel like at Disney, they're usually pretty open with you. So I feel like if there wasn't one, she would have said, oh, we don't have standby. Yeah. It would have been reservation only. So that's something to keep in mind. If you are trying to go and you wanted to get the lightsaber and you realize, you know what, there's no reservations. If you get there early enough, I would go straight to Star Wars Land and see if you can get put on the wait list. Just something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. Once we had our lightsabers, now we wanted to, of course, to go take a picture with our lightsabers next to the Millennium Falcon. And so, before that, we actually went into the gift shop, so that way Shane wanted the other crystals, the other colored crystals, which you can actually buy. You can also buy extra pieces if you wanted to swap out the pieces. You can do that right. The cast member that checks you in, and when you pay for your experience, they have the extra pieces for the lightsabers. So the hilt, all those kind of things, you could swap them out. They are very pricey. If you're going to buy extra pieces, I think they were $25.
Yeah, $20 or $25 per piece. Mm-hmm. Now, something to keep in mind, and it's gone back and forth, but I remember when Star Wars Land first opened back in 2019, I believe it was, they were letting you buy as many pieces as you wanted. And then there was a lot of resellers, were buying them, putting them up on eBay. Yeah. And so then they said no more, right? Mm-hmm. And then I think there might have been a time where you could buy only one extra piece, and then they stopped it again. So I don't know if this is now they're back to just selling it. You can buy as many pieces as you wanted. Because when I went, the lady, when I was building my lightsaber, actually, the lady was like, "Oh, you can buy more pieces if you want." Because I was talking to the guy next to me saying, "Oh, I like your lightsaber. It came out really cool." And that's when she told me, "Oh, you can buy some extra pieces if you want." So I went and bought some at the front. I bought, I think I bought 3 extra pieces. And so I bought 3 extra pieces, but I could have bought enough pieces to basically recreate another lightsaber. And then, like you said, I bought extra crystals. So I got a red one. You got your purple one. I bought yellow, green, and blue as extra. They also have a white, but I really didn't see the need to get a white, so I didn't get that one. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think the crystals were $17. It's either $14.99 or $17.99.
Yeah. I don't know, but it's really fun to play with them. I know we're adults, but that's what we have adult money, so we bought lightsabers. I mean, if you can't use your money to buy lightsabers and toys, what do you even go to work for? But anyway, so after that, we went and took a picture in front of the Millennium Falcon. I will say that I hate the picture because there's some guy sitting on the side, and if somebody's really good with Photoshop, you could probably Photoshop them out. But yeah, I wasn't really too impressed with the picture. We did get on Smuggler's Run. Did we have a lightning lane for that?
Yeah, so we did. Every day of our trip, we purchased Genie Plus, which we probably didn't need to, but we wanted to experience it and use it. So we did have a lightning lane for this, so we were able to get on that rather quickly. Yeah. And I don't know if this is a controversial take or not, but I don't really care for Smuggler's Run. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's enjoyable. We've ridden it twice now. Once at Disneyland, and once at Walt Disney World. The first time we rode on it at Disneyland, we did
single rider.
And so we didn't have... Actually, on single rider, we still had to wait quite a bit. But we were able to get on the same...
Because some really nice guy who was... I can't remember if he was right in front of us or right behind us. He realized that we were together, and he said, "Oh, you can take my spot so you guys can ride together." So it was really nice that he was able to do that. So we were still able to ride together. But every time I've gotten the same job...
Yeah, we've gotten the engineer.
We've always gotten the engineer.
Which is the one you sit in the back and you just fix the ship. So maybe that's why I don't quite enjoy this ride as much. Yeah. Maybe if I get the pilot one day, at that point, maybe I would, be like, okay, this is a little bit funner. I'm not going to stand... Based on right now, I'm not going to stand in line for this ride longer than 30 minutes. Yeah. Honestly, I'd rather go on Star Tours.
Yeah. We really enjoy Star Tours. I know people don't like it, but we really like it. We didn't ride it we weren't able to ride it at Disney World because, like we said, it was too crowded. But at Disneyland, we love it. We will always get in line for that one. I mean, we're not going to wait forever for it, but we will get in line for it. The other thing that was a little disappointing also while we're still in Star Wars Land is that the line for Rise of the Resistance was 3 hours long.
Yeah, it was never less than 3 hours.
It was never less than 3 hours. We did try to get a lightning lane for it, but since we were not staying on property, by the time we can get one at 9 a.m., they were all sold out. Yeah. So we really tried to get on the ride, but there was no way that we were going to stand in line for 3 hours.
No.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, I think it's the best ride in Disneyland.
It's so fun.
And Disney World, bar none. We were able to ride it in Disneyland, so we've experienced it and we love it. But for how good it is, I am not going to stand in a 3 hour line. No. I just won't do it. Yeah. I'm like, it's not worth it to me.
No.
I'd rather use that time and go on other things. Yeah. I would like to go back to Hollywood Studios because when we planned this trip, we knew we're going to be able to do everything, but we wanted to go to all 4 parks. Had we slowed down a little bit and stayed in the parks all day, because we did stay in Magic Kingdom all day, but for this day on Friday for Hollywood Studios, we had only planned to stay there in the morning, really. And so we, like you said, we hit Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. We did Smuggler's Run. We met our lightsabers. After Smuggler's Run, I think we went and had blue milk. We tried blue milk.
Oh, we did try blue milk.
We didn't try any of that when we were in Disneyland. Mm-hmm. So we tried blue milk for the first time. We got two. We got the regular, and then you could add alcohol to it. Mm-hmm. I think it was rum. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I thought I would like it. No, I did like the blue milk, the regular. The one with the alcohol, I didn't care for it. It was okay, but I think it took away from the flavor of the blue milk.
Yeah, the alcohol didn't add anything to it. So if I'm going to pay the extra fee for the alcohol, I want it to add flavor. I want it to make it more enjoyable. And I don't feel like the alcohol added to it at all. But I do want to try the green milk and compare the two. Yeah. So probably this next weekend when we're in Disneyland, we'll probably get one blue, one green, and see what we think.
Yeah, I hear a lot of people don't like the green milk, so I kind of want to try it. I also just so I can have tried all of them. I think I'll get an alcoholic version of the green milk too, just to see.
Yeah,
because maybe that one is better with alcohol.
Right,
and then we can do a little comparison. And so after our so we got the blue milk. We kind of took another little break, kind of just sat down for a little bit, regathered ourselves, what we were going to do. And so I think we decided to walk through Toy Story Land. Mm-hmm. We didn't get on any of the rides because our plan for this day was we were going to do the morning at Hollywood Studios and then end the day at Epcot. So we wanted to go back to our hotel and take a little break. And we had planned it this way because, okay, we're going to build our lightsabers, which you have to make a reservation for. And we didn't want to carry our lightsabers around in the parks all day. So we're like, okay, we'll take a break, go back to the hotel, drop off our lightsabers, get cleaned up, maybe take a little nap, whatever we want to do. So we walked through Toy Story Land just to kind of check it out. First time seeing it. I think we ordered some coffee at Joffrey's, right?
Yes. So we went and got some coffee, and then I think we walked through Toy Story Land, and then.
Well, I think we walked through Toy Story Land first because the Joffrey's cart was as we were exiting Toy Story Land. Because remember, we walked by where Woody is standing and the little yo-yo.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not your little, it's a big yo-yo.
Yeah.
With Toy Story Land.
Yeah.
And then the Joffrey cart was right there. And so then after that, we went to get the Wookie Cookie.
Right.
Which is at location?
I don't know. But it's back in the corner. As we were looking for the Wookie Cookie, we saw the part where Indiana Jones, the show, would have been, but it was closed when we were there. So hopefully we can see it again. We could actually see it for the first time when we go again.
I was so disappointed because I wanted to go see that Indiana Jones show for the longest time. My grandparents went to Disney World. I don't want to say a lot, but they went quite a few times when I was little. But they didn't take me. I don't know why. Maybe I was a little brat. Anyway, but I remember my grandpa, he would record, all his visits. And he recorded the show. I remember seeing the recording of the Indiana Jones show back when, he recorded it on, Super 8 or High 8, those little tapes. Anyway, it wasn't open when we went, but it is open now, so I can't wait to see that show on our next trip. But for the Wookie Cookie, I think it was at the Backlot Express.
That's what it was. It's at the Backlot Express, in case you guys want to know. It's actually in the back of the park.
Yeah, and it's really good. This is something I want to get every time.
Every time.
Yeah. We also tried something else there. It was was it a 50th anniversary?
So it was a 50th anniversary Blondie. And it's basically like a round white brownie. And it had some whipped cream or buttercream on top with a little chocolate 50th medallion candy on it. We were not really big fans of that. It wasn't like a fudgy brownie. It was a little crunchy in a weird way. Yeah. It wasn't horrible. It's just not something we enjoyed, and maybe because it was paired with the Wookie Cookie that we loved so much. So the Wookie Cookie is basically like a giant oatmeal cream pie with a little chocolate, I don't know what you want to call it. It's a little chocolate bar that looks like Chewie's belt that he wears. It's so good. Even if you think you don't like the Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies, this is so good.
No comparison.
This is it's so much better. And And it's so big you can split it.
You could split it, but I could eat the whole thing. But it's surprising though that you like it because you don't like oatmeal cookies.
I don't like oatmeal cookies.
But she loved this cookie. So if you're someone who doesn't really care for oatmeal cookies, give it a try. You know, like Kiosha said, you can. It's big enough to share. So get it. You know, split it and just see if you like it. But after that, I think we left for the day, right? We didn't really do much else at Hollywood Studios.
Yeah, after that we were pretty tired. We were hot and I was just tired, and I think the standing kind of did us in the morning. So our day never really started off right. So I think it just wasn't quite right. So we went back to the hotel, and then of course we had to play with our lightsabers because, you know, that's what you do. And then, you know, we got kind of cleaned up, and then we went over to Epcot. And so
Did we take a nap? I don't think
we did not.
I think we just lounged around the hotel.
We just rested.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we took a shower, something got cleaned up, and then went to Epcot. Now, everyone had talked up Epcot for us. They said it was great, right? We weren't that great of fans of Epcot, but we did go at night. It was really crowded. I mean, like, really crowded. We were tired, but...
Because, I mean, we were really tired because we had rope dropped and closed out Magic Kingdom the day before. Mm-hmm. And we basically rope dropped Hollywood Studios, even though we didn't do it right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and we were, like you said, we were standing for so long. And for Epcot, by the time we got there, it wasn't dark, but it was like close. Mm-hmm. I want to say we got back to Epcot at like 5.
Yeah,
like close to 5. Mm-hmm. And it was crowded. You know, it's a holiday weekend, right? So we expect it to be crowded. But honestly, in comparison to Hollywood Studios, now Epcot I think is a little bit bigger, or maybe it's a little bit more spread out. It didn't feel as crowded as Hollywood Studios. Yeah. But I mean, it was a lot of people. We had never been before. We didn't know where we were going, what we were doing. But our first goal was to walk through the countries, right? Mm-hmm. So we walked through the countries. I think we went to the right. And so I think the first country was Canada?
Canada, eh? Also, we went to Canada first because I wanted maple popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
And can I just tell you, the maple popcorn is as good as the Wookie Cookie. The maple popcorn is going to be a staple every time I go to Epcot. And it's probably going to be one of the first things that I get because I'm probably going to need a second bucket of popcorn. It's that good. I don't even like popcorn, but this maple popcorn is really delicious. And
you said you can actually get it as part of your refill, right? If you have a popcorn bucket, which to me surprised me. I didn't think you'd be able to do that. So that's good to know.
They also had the standard like round popcorn bucket that has like the printed Disney, like the 50th anniversary or the Epcot logo stuff on it that you can buy there too. It's a little bit bigger than the little paper bucket, like popcorn bucket thing that they give you. We didn't do that. I kind of wish we would have because I wanted more popcorn. But yeah.
I think like you said, we were already kind of tired.
And we were hungry.
So we ended up, I think after Canada, I may be missing some countries here, but I know we went to London next, right? I don't know if it's the right next country, but it's really close to Canada. And then we kind of walked around there for a little bit. We placed a mobile order for some fish and chips. And then, so while we were waiting for that, I remember you went into like the little tea shop was over there and came out with some cute stuff, some tea, I think a cup or something. And so then we got the fish and chips, and I was sitting on a bench. And our order was ready, but Kiosha was shopping. And so I didn't want to get up from the bench because...
And lose our spot.
Because seating was prime, because it's busy. Yeah. And so I'm calling her, I'm texting her, I'm like, the order's ready, but she wasn't answering. And then she finally came out, and I was like, okay, the food's ready, come sit over here.
Yeah.
So I went and grabbed our fish and chips. I ordered a beer. I think
I ordered a soda. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I get back to the bench. I sit down. I have two trays of fish and chips. I have both cups, and so I'm trying to hand one to Kiosha. I think I hand Kiosha your drink first, and then I think I handed you your fish first.
Oh yeah, okay,
I handed you your fish first. Well, that made everything unbalanced, and so I spilt my beer. Thankfully, I didn't spill all of it, but I spilled a good chunk of beer all over me, and so now I am annoyed.
Annoyed is a little light.
Okay, I was mad.
He was mad.
But I handled it.
He handled it very well. He was annoyed and he was upset. And he basically kind of was in the, I just want to go home, but I can't go home because I paid all this money to be in this park. And he was just so grouchy, and I was trying not to say anything. And it was just like the Disney magic was gone. And then there was this lady who was sitting next to us.
But to be fair, like, you say I'm grouchy, but I wasn't saying anything. I was like, okay, I'm just going to, like, be quiet, process this, handle it. It's going to be okay. Eat your food, drink your beer.
But I'm your wife, and I know you, and I'm glad that you weren't saying anything. Yeah, I'm glad that you weren't saying anything, and I'm glad that we just sat there and ate our food. And I'm glad I was the buffer between you and the lady who was sitting next to me on the bench, because she was upset about the Ratatouille ride, because she went there specifically for the Ratatouille ride, and she wasn't able to get on it because of the virtual queue. And she was, like, upset, almost in tears, and she was complaining to us. I don't know, I guess I have the face of people just want to talk to me. It's fine. But it was just like so much negativeness and then I was trying to like dry off the beer off of Shane's shorts. It was kind of one of those moments where I think everybody has them at Disney, but nobody talks about them. It's like if you have kids and your kid has a meltdown because they're tired and they need a nap, or you're hungry and you're grouchy and so you know, whatever. But despite all of that, we did go on with our Epcot experience. We did travel to all the countries.
We did, yeah.
We didn't really experience them well.
No, because it was, like you said, it was crowded. There was a lot of people, and so we kind of walked through different countries, kind of just browse and look to see what there was. And it's nice. Like, we didn't enjoy it as much for our first experience of Epcot. But I definitely want to go back, and we actually do have a day planned on our next trip for a full day at Epcot, just so we can experience it like as new again, basically, and just kind of take our time. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. For rides, we didn't do a bunch of rides. We did go on the 3 Caballeros rides, which was okay, and I probably wouldn't ride it again, to be honest with you. I didn't care for it. It's one of those rides where it's like, okay, it's here. Yeah. I don't have anything else to do. I'm going to go on. That's just my opinion. So we went on that 3 Caballeros rides. What else did we go on? We
went on Soaring, which we really enjoyed.
Yeah, we enjoyed that.
We enjoyed that a lot. We did go on, well, I didn't. We got in line for Mission Space.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm claustrophobic. I am not afraid to say it. I'm really claustrophobic. I also don't like heights, but that's besides the point. Claustrophobic. So when you get on Mission Space in line, they tell you if you're claustrophobic or if you get motion sickness, maybe this isn't the ride for you. Well, a lot of rides say that, but I didn't believe them because apparently, whatever, I didn't believe them. So anyway, we get on. We chose this ride because it was a 5-minute wait. We got on.
Because this was at the end of the day.
This was at the end of the night.
We were kind of like on our way out the park. We kind of just said, okay, we're wrapping up. Starting to like walk towards the front, and we saw that. Okay, it's a 5-minute wait. Let's do it.
So we get on.
Well, we get in the queue. We get in the
queue.
Yeah.
And we're paired up with a dad and his daughter.
Yeah.
And we get on the ride, and the ride proceeds to close me in. I don't even know how to explain it because I was having a meltdown in my seat.
Can we back up a little bit?
Okay.
So, because there's a pre-show.
There is a pre-show.
Right? So, like with most of the things, it's kind of like Soaring, right? You go in that little corridor, and it gives you the show about what to expect, how you're going to buckle in. And so this whole pre-show, it's like, okay, you're going to be like closed in, right? You're going to feel G-forces. And so I didn't realize how enclosed we were going to be, but they kept reiterating, like,
yes.
You're going to be in a small space. You're going to be in a closed space. And so I know my wife, I know you are fearful of enclosed spaces. And I asked you multiple times.
He asked me multiple times.
Sure you don't want to go? And one thing, and I think there's two different versions of this ride. One has more G-forces than the other. We, of course, I think we picked the more G-force. The more G-force of the two, the stronger one of the two. So, as far as the enclosed spacing goes, I'm pretty sure it would have been the same either way. But yeah, so I gave you like multiple. I was like, are you sure you want to do this ride? Yeah. Like, I don't think, and you're like, no, I got this. And I'm like, okay.
I was trying to be, adulty or whatever, and I didn't want to leave Shane by himself. And I'm like, no, I could do it. I'm strong. I could do it. Well, I'm not strong. So we got on. The ride closed. The doors closed. Everything closed. And I'm like freaking out, but I'm trying not to freak out because there's a little girl sitting next to me, and I don't want to freak her out, but I'm freaking out. And I don't know how this happened, but thank goodness it did. One of the cast members comes over and opens the door. Something wasn't working right. Well, he opened the door, and I said, I got to get off, and I got off. And I'm so thankful that that cast member came, because I'm literally almost hyperventilating walking out of the area, and there's cast members along the hallway or whatever, and I must have looked pretty bad, because they asked me, every cast member asked me, are you okay? And I said yes. And they're like, you're almost to the exit. And so then there's like a little waiting area, because apparently I'm not the only one this happens to, because they had a little waiting area, and they had like a little, like at McDonald's, they used to have the little play things with the tubes and stuff kids can crawl in. Well, they have one of those. Well, so I was waiting out there, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like crying. I can't breathe. And then I'm mad at myself because I'm crying and I can't breathe. And it was just, I don't know. Later on, I talked to someone else who had a very similar experience with this ride. And I think the ride should be fun. It should be fun. And it kind of upset me that I got this upset about a ride. But I say all this to give you the warning: Mission Space is not for anyone who's claustrophobic.
Yeah, definitely not. Because, I mean, I'm not claustrophobic, but the screens, like, after you get into your little harness, those screens come towards you, I mean, it is close. Because it's trying to mimic, like, you're looking out the window of a spaceship, right? And, you're going on your mission. I enjoyed it, but I will say, for someone who doesn't really get motion sickness, after the ride, I just didn't feel right. I felt a little dizzy, and I was like, man, I feel weird. And so I was explaining to you how I was feeling, and you're like, oh, that's motion sickness. And I'm like, oh, that's what this feels like? So I've never experienced it before. I mean, I'm assuming it's the G-forces, right?
Yeah.
So even for me, who doesn't experience it, I was like, oh, it feels weird. And so, I mean, I got over it rather quickly, but I felt so bad for you, because even though you didn't even experience the ride, just that little bit of time being enclosed, like, it was so stressful for you. And after, I still went on the ride, because I was like, okay, she's going to be fine. She'll get off. She'll, and you'll shake it off, really. But by the time I got off, you were still not feeling well. Like, it was still like, it stressed you out so much. I felt so bad.
And I think part of that, too, was that I was extremely tired also. So I think that made it worse, too. And then I just felt bad for making a scene, even though I didn't even really make a scene. No one really knew, but I just felt like everyone knew. But anyway, so then after that, we happened upon the Creation store at Epcot. And so Shane still wasn't really feeling that good, but I was starting to feel better. So I ran into the store just to look around real quick. And I found Shane the most perfect sweatshirt ever. It's a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt for the 50th anniversary. It's so adorable. It's my favorite sweatshirt. I wish I got one for myself.
It's so comfortable. It's very comfortable. And I know you can't see us because we're on our podcast, but I'm a big boy. I'm a big size guy. And so, especially when it comes to Disney merchandise, specifically clothing, it's hard to find shirts that are my size. So I usually end up getting like a hat, socks, those kind of things. So to be able to find a sweatshirt that's my size was pretty exciting. And let me tell you, it is the most comfortable sweatshirt I've ever owned.
It's so soft.
So soft.
So soft.
Yeah. And so I stayed outside. You were in that store for quite a while, but it's pretty big.
Yeah, it's big.
It's a pretty big store. So I think next time I want to go into that store too. So I look forward to that. And but yeah, after that, because like I said, we got there about 5. I think we left the park about 9. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we only stayed about 4 hours, not too long. Just enough to kind of like see what they had in the parks, or see what they had in Epcot, I should say. So at least we kind of have a good idea for when we go back, kind of the layout of the land a little bit better, and kind of what we want to do. And then we ended up going back to our room and calling it a night. And then the next day, we went to Animal Kingdom. And so we're going to go ahead and talk about that on our next episode. We'll make this a 3-parter. And so be sure to subscribe, and you'll get that episode next week, next Monday. We'll talk about Animal Kingdom and then wrapping up the day at Magic Kingdom. So make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Please leave a rating and review. And until next time, stay happy, friends.